So this on speaker view. All right. Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday. I can't believe this week has already flown by. My goodness. We are going to recap an amazing weekend that I think there's 7 of us in a room, but we had a couple other teammates as well that joined us. And I know some other people are going to be hopping on as well to hear about a recap of the Rachel Hollis Business Conference. So last night, a bunch of us did the visualization that went along with the practice that Rachel Hollis did on dreaming bigger. And then tonight, we're just going to share our ahas. So there's 6 of us that wanted to chat tonight, and I am setting a timer for each person to talk for 7 minutes. They get 7 minutes to share their ahas because there was just so much, guys. This was a 3-day conference that we went to. And if you ever have a chance to get to one of her Rise conferences, I really suggest it. This one was focused on business and entrepreneurship. So it was really great because it was speaking to us. I have the ham horn ready. You better believe it. I don't want to take anyone's time, so we're just going to start with whoever wants to start. Is there anybody that wants to kick us off? Otherwise, I'm just going to call on whoever I see first. Okay. I'm seeing if any of you guys are raising your hand. Nope. Anyone raise their hand? Okay. The lucky person is Jenny. Your beautiful face is right there in front of me. We're going to share some things that we took away, and some of it might be about just like one speaker specifically or a topic that really hit us, and some of us might jump around to some of the best of different speakers, but you're going to want to have your pencil probably ready to write down either the name of the speaker that we heard or the concept that this came from, or maybe a book title that really inspired us along with the speakers, because it was not just Rachel. We had how many guys? Like 8 to 10 other speakers that were just at the top of the game, you guys, like unbelievable and experts in their field. So we're going to be throwing out some amazing info at you right now. It might take some time to process, but get your pencil ready. So Jenny, take it away, sister.
All right. So I think it's important to also explain that this conference was 3 days. And so like day 1 was all about owning your past. Day 2 was like foundations for a successful business. So we talked about like social media. So like day 1 was all about kind of you, like personal, like where were you before? Day 2 was, your customer experience, your branding, your sales, your social media. And then like day 3 was all about future, dreams, goals, leadership. So that was kind of how it was broken down. So some of what I'm going to talk about, it was more kind of in the middle on day 2. But the first thing, I mean, there's, like Lauren said, there's so much good stuff. It's hard to even describe it and even like break down like what to talk about. But the first thing that I want to say is it hit me big time. Rachel Hollis says a lot. Maybe life is not happening to you, but it's happening for you. And I've heard this like so many times, but it was at this conference that it just kind of hit me like, okay, so maybe all those things that I thought were like bad things that happened to me, like situations that I couldn't understand, like why did I go through that? Maybe it was all for a reason, maybe there was a reason behind everything. So I want you guys to really think about that statement. Because I mean, I've probably heard that. I've heard that probably 10 times, and at least, and it never really dawned on me until I heard it at this conference. But okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is a guy named Dean Grazioso, and I have my book here. I don't know if you guys can see. This is what he looks like. I don't know. We think he's like 50 something. He's in like incredible shape, and I don't know. He's just awesome. I know he's done a lot of stuff with Tony Robbins. Like he's been in business for like 25 years. He does infomercials and all kinds of stuff. So the guy knows what he's talking about. Multi-millionaire. And so I want you guys to think about a post, a live, anything like that you've done. And you are like, oh my gosh, I have the best story. And you start talking about your story or posting about your story, and nobody's on there, and nobody's watching, and nobody's commenting, and nobody's liking. And you're like, what the heck happened? Like, I have this awesome story. I'm like, I'm going live and I'm telling all these details and I'm being vulnerable and all this stuff. And the problem is that you don't have a good hook. So he really broke this down into 3 pieces. And so he broke it down into your hook. So this is like the thing that's like going to catch your audience. So one thing he said to think about, and I wrote this and I thought this was really good. You want to enter the conversation already going on in the mind of your prospect. Okay, so the conversation that your prospect is already having in their mind. So think of your PDTs, think of your audience, think of your PDTs. What are they worried about? What are they thinking about? Maybe right now they're worried that they don't have the money to buy Christmas presents, right? So what if your hook, the title of your live, the thing that you use your Facebook font generator and put in a different type is your hook on your post? What if it's something that's like talking about like, gosh, I didn't have the money for Christmas presents 2 years ago either. Something like that, something where you can get into their mind to catch their attention before you even go into your story. So that was the first thing. You want to just draw them in. So a lot of times we don't draw people in because we don't have a good hook. So the next thing is, obviously the meat of it is your story. You want to talk about your story. You guys, stories sell, stories sell, stories sell. I will say it over and over. Like I think about when I got started, even as a new distributor, like stories sold me on being loyal. Like stories sell. So don't even just think about stories to your potentials, stories to your team. Give them people that they can relate to. Okay, so like you as an enroller might be 20 years old and you might have a bunch of 35-year-old moms on your team. Yes, they're going to love your story, but they might not relate to your story, but they might relate to my story or Lauren's story or Allie's story or Nicole's story, so make sure you're sharing stories and sharing your own story. So when you're going live, you're doing your post, you want to talk about your story, you want to be vulnerable. People respond to vulnerability. What Rachel talked a little bit about social media, and one of the things she talked about was people are going away from filters. People want to see you. They want to see you, no filters, fresh face. Outside of just like the physical of it, they want to know you as a person. They want you to be authentic. And she talked a lot about authenticity sells. So, so in your story, be you, be real, be authentic. Okay. And some things you also want to talk about is like, maybe you had an epiphany in your life that changed everything. Maybe you're talking about this business and something happened and you were fine. Everything was fine. Something happened and that's when you knew you needed this business. Maybe you're in the business and you weren't really doing a whole lot, but something happened and caused you to work more and now you've achieved this goal. So, build your credibility. Like, why would someone want to join your team? So you want to keep those things in your story. And another thing I wrote down that he said, people buy from you or join you, however you want to, customers or distributors. People will buy from you, people will join you, or will learn from you when they feel understood, not when they understand you. So think about that. People will buy from you when they feel understood, not when they understand you. So I feel like that's just like flipping that conversation again of like, people, like someone is talking to you and they feel like you understand them, not that they're trying to understand you in the conversation. You understand them. Okay. So that's all about story. And then, the next thing is your close. So you've got your hook, you've got your story. Oh, Lauren, 30 seconds. You can't do that to me. Okay. Then you got your close. So your call to action, you guys. And I've heard from other social media influencers, you want to have your same call to action every time. So whether it's text the word opportunity to this phone number, drop a heart emoji below in the comments. Be consistent with that. If you don't have a call to action, people aren't going to do anything. So you got to have a call to action so people know what to do. You're telling them all this good stuff, but then you're losing them because you're not telling them what to do. Same goes for if you're talking to someone, hand them your phone to sign up as a customer, hand them your phone to sign up as a distributor. send them your website. That's all things you want to do to close the sale. Oh my gosh, now I'm feeling nervous. I had other things I wanted to talk about. So there's this is really nerve-wracking, Lauren. Can I just get like 30 more seconds?
Ask the other girls that are on the call. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, you may wrap it up. I'm just gonna say the ham horn is the best sound effect that they use all throughout Rachel Hollis. This is not just a sound effect we chose. Rachel loves this, and she has a DJ that's playing music, but also plays this sound. So I'll give you 30 more seconds on the clock. Jenny.
Okay, well, so switching over, there was another woman named Amy Porterfield.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Who was another speaker, and she was amazing, and she's built like so many online e-courses and all these different things, and there was a lot of really intense high-level things that she talked about, but the biggest thing that she said, and I want you guys to take this home, is do not build your business on someone else's platform. And I think we are all guilty of this. We use Facebook and we use Instagram and I don't know, maybe some other things, but we don't own those, right? Like none of us are Zuckerberg here. We don't own those platforms. So if Mark Zuckerberg decided tomorrow he wanted to shut them down, our businesses would be shut down. So I want you guys to really think about, how are you going to get phone numbers in Connect? How are you going to get email addresses in Connect? You have an amazing app that corporate built. You got to figure out a way to get your contacts off of social media and into your phone, because that's what, so that day, I don't know if those of you in February who remember the day that like Facebook shut down, no one could do anything. The people who had numbers in their phone, those people could still work. Okay. So I just like think about that. So that's the big thing I wanted to say. So I'm good now. You can ham horn me.
That was very graceful. I was not lying when I told you I'm taking out the ham horn. No. So get ready. And if you need to Google the ham horn app, everybody, get it. My children love it as well. We will ham horn at dinner. Okay. Thank you, Jenny. That was all great stuff. And I'm really glad that you have jogged it in my memory again, because I'm going back to read my notes on the Amy Porterfield section when we're done. I am coming to you, Stevie Muma. I see your beautiful face, and you are on the clock.
Okay, so the big, I mean, as all of the ladies will say, and will probably say over and over again, there were so many ahas. And the one of the big things that continued to be like a theme for me was adding value. And one of the very first speakers that we heard from, Tom Bilyeu, was somebody that you all are probably familiar with, whether you know his name or not, but he and his wife were the creators of the Quest Nutrition and all of those bars that everybody loves. They have an amazing story. They sold their business, and now they have an amazing podcast called Impact Theory. And so he was all about failure and how you turn failure into helping your business. And so one of the things that he said that just really struck me was, you have to come from adding value. Everything that we do in our businesses needs to come from a place of, are we adding value? The posts that we do, the messages that we send, the conversations that you're having when you're talking to somebody about, upselling, come from a place of adding value. And I think it really hit me because I feel like, especially at this time of year, as everyone talks about, most people talk about their checks going down, and are you re-ranking, or we're all wanting to promote and this and that, and your paychecks, it becomes less about value and more about like us and me. And oh my gosh, my check is down. And oh my gosh, I haven't re-ranked. And what am I going to do? And my team's not working, and this and that. And we start coming from, we're not coming from a place of gratitude and abundance, and we're not coming from a place of wanting to help our customers, which we know when we were brand new, that was all we're like, how many more people can I share these greens with? And it was all about adding value. And so that was one of the big things that he was talking about, was how are you serving your people? And that's what we're here for. And whether we're reaching out to people about the opportunity, or we're reaching out to them about helping them with their health goals, we need to be reaching out to them from a place of service and wanting to serve them. One of the other things that was shared was that he talked about was the fact that even when you have a ton of money, money is never going to be the thing that wakes you up every single morning and gets you to grind. You could be a millionaire, but if you aren't coming from that place of gratitude, and you're not coming from a place of just really wanting to figure out how you can add the most value to the most amount of people in the world, and have the biggest impact on people, like, it's just not going to get you moving every day. And so he just talked about how you really have to dig deep. And I think especially as we all go into the end of the year, and we're thinking about our 2020 goals, I think it's really important that we're thinking about how many people do we want to impact, from a business standpoint, like how many lives are we going to change? And I know Mark talks about that all the time, but I think sometimes we forget it when we get really wrapped up again in the paychecks that dropped today. And so every decision that you make in your business moving forward needs to be about, are you adding value through that message that you're sharing? He also talked about failure and how failure is the most information-rich form of data that we have. Failure is the most information-rich form of data that we have. And so what he was saying there is, and I feel like a big message from all these entrepreneurs, they told story after story about setbacks and failures, but none of them saw it as like failure means I quit. Failure just means that was great because I learned something and now I know better and I can make what I'm doing better and I can now serve people better. And so always just really stop worrying so much about failure being a bad thing and realize that failure is a really great thing. And as a matter of fact, that's probably the only way you're gonna learn. So embrace the failure, and through it, just make sure you're doing those debriefs to say, how can I make it better? Like if that post like really sucked, or I didn't get great feedback, or my customer didn't have the amazing experience, just like stop and say, how do I make this better for the next person? And then the woman who kind of came back and tied it together too, her name was Molly Roncal. Type that in, Lauren. She is the makeup artist for Beyonce. Again, another amazing story just about where she started and how she got to where she is, just working with Beyonce all over the place. And she talked a lot about trusting your whisper. And again, it was coming from a place of adding value and serving your customers, and how we have that whisper inside of us that usually gives us like the intuition to do a certain post or a message. And I know when I pray hard about certain things, like sometimes it just like comes to me and I'm like, oh, I'm like, it's flowing. And so she just talked about how your customers are going to guide you. And you just need to trust what it is that the message that comes to you. So really, I would encourage you to go piece by piece and just look through think about the posts that you do, how you approach your audience, think about the experience you're providing to your customers, think about the things that you're doing to support your team or not doing, and break that down and figure out how can you add more value. And I know when you add more value, you're not only going to feel more fulfilled, you're going to start to see the thing that you came here to do, and that's get your checks to rise so that you can achieve all those things that you want. So just remember, I know Rachel said this too, but in a world of so many different options, the only way we win is when our people know us and when we're really serving them well. So come from a place of value, and come next year when it's our time of year to shine, like we're going to be ready, and it's going to be the best ever.
Nice work. You did it. Nice work. And yeah, I mean, he was our favorite of the day. I think he was actually the first speaker of the day, but he was our favorite. We were like, boom, mic drop. I mean, it was so great because the woman at the end is like, what do you do when you're tired? What do you do when you're just so burned out? And I think that some of us have felt that way. And he was like, take a breather, enjoy life, go outside and enjoy your day, but don't quit. He was like, it was so common sense. It was like, you don't quit, you take a break, you reevaluate, you live your damn life. He's like, you have one life, live it, but go outside and enjoy your day. Like, I think so many people get wrapped up of like, I'm burned out, this must not be it, I must quit. It's like, no, everyone feels burned out when you're an entrepreneur. Things are hard. work through the suck, work through the hard, and no failure is part of it. So thank you, Stevie. Good stuff. And I put stuff about Mally and Tom in the chat. We are going to go out to, who do I see? Nicole. Hey, sis.
Hey, girl. Okay.
Let me grab my timer.
Yeah, you better put me on a timer, honey, because I can get long-winded. All right. So I'm actually covering Ed. I guess you say his last name is Milet, right?
Yeah, Ed Milet. Yes.
Okay. I don't know how to say it. So just so you guys know, when I came to this, I didn't know any of these people. I had never heard of these people a day in my life. I actually had zero expectations of what this was going to be. So I would really highly suggest and encourage you guys to go and look up each of these speakers that Allie shared at the top. She shared the whole entire list. So this guy right here, I really connected with his story and his message, and I wrote down a crap ton of things. He's probably one of the ones I wrote down the most for, but I'm only going to hit on a couple of them. So the very first thing that I wrote on my page was, why do you want this business? And that's a question that I think that can evolve over time, but it's something that we need to readdress and keep at the forefront of our mind, because just like we just discussed, is there can be moments of burnout, frustration, discouragement, and you have to go back to, why are you doing this business? We hear it all the time, but I've been doing this business for almost 6 years, and there's been moments where I've lost sight of why I'm doing this business, because why I originally started, I achieved it very quickly, and then I have to generate a new why. Then one of the next things that I wrote down, and I think that this is just so phenomenal, is he said that people don't have to believe what you are saying. People need to believe that you believe what you are saying. And that to me is just a huge, major mindset shift, because we find ourselves trying to get people to believe, right? And he's saying straight up, that's not what you need. You need for people to believe that you believe what you are saying. And it goes back to, like, I remember when I first started and never trying a product and not knowing anything about this business. And people were believing everything that I said because I believed it, right? And we have to remember that that's what people are looking for. It goes back to just the same reason why people purchase from you. People purchase specifically from you out of the thousands of distributors because they want to purchase from you. So I just think that that was huge for me, because I find myself trying to do that, and that's not what people need to believe. They need to believe that I believe in what I am saying. Another thing that he said is that you need to become an evangelist for your vision. And I loved that so much, because that, again, is why people will believe in this, is if you go out and tell everyone about your vision that you see for this company and what you're going to do for your family through this company and for the families who are going to join you, people are going to grab a hold of that, and that's going to light a fire. He also said to be on fire and to have a mission for your cause. I think that that was really important too. And then I have a bunch of other notes, but I want to hurry up because I feel like I'm probably getting close to time. I don't really know. Oh, I'm good? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, good. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is he told a story about he had purchased this property. He didn't even have the money to begin with. He was basically speaking this into existence. I love that so much because that's happened in my life. And he purchased this property and then finds out that he can't even build a house on it. Okay. And the reason why is because this house has all this crap ton of rock. And he finds out that he's going to have to blow all this rock up. It's going to cost like $30,000 a day to blow this rock up. Okay. And he obviously gets stressed through this. People are thinking he's lost his freaking mind. When are you going to give it up? And then, like, just so you know, he has this picture and he's showing the property. I know, that would be so good, Lauren. I wish you could too. And he has it on there. So we're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? So then he goes on to say that comes down to find this guy, y'all. And he went through people after people who don't believe in his vision. Okay. It can't be done. Right. Then he finds this guy who's like, I can actually use all that mess and make it the foundation for your house. And I was like, shut it. Like, I was like, that right there will freaking preach all day long. That God will use your mess and create something so amazing out of it. And I resonated so much with that because my business over the past couple years has been a complete mess. There is the house. Look at this. So Lauren's screen sharing right now. Every piece of that house is made from that mess. It's the foundation. It's what blocks the water from coming up. It keeps everything up. It's the support. You see, the whole freaking house is made from that mess. And I was like, I seriously thought I was at church for a minute. I was about to get up, start praising. I'm not even gonna lie, because I could have just cried my eyes out, because so many times we think that our mess is just a mess. And he said right here, and I wrote it so big, I underlined it, I put exclamation marks, and he said, you better create a mess. And he was like, have a plan with your mess and fall in love with the process. And I was like, yes, so freaking good. And I just couldn't even believe it. And oh God, it was just so good. And I just wrote, like, I just want to own my mess. I want to own my mess. And so I'm going to go create a mess, and I'm going to have a plan. I'm going to enjoy my mess. I'm going to enjoy the process. And the very last thing that I want to say to you guys, and this is for every single one of us, and just so you know, like, I can't speak for everybody, but I've been in this business for a long time. It has not been easy. There were moments where I was like on the mountaintop, living life to the fullest, like woohoo, okay. But I've been back down into the valley for a long time now. And there's been moments where I wanted to throw in the towel, because here's the reality. It is easier to throw in the towel than to keep moving and fighting for the reason why you started, okay? And this is what he said, and it's the very last thing that I wrote down. You have to stick around long enough for the candy to come out. And so many people are not sticking around long enough for the candy to come out. So many people are quitting before they even get started. So many people, you know, maybe you started today with a plan, and then you were just like, oh, to hell with it. You know, like, I got to do this and I got to do that. Already, you're not sticking around for the candy to come out. And so I don't know about you, but I'm going to stick around for all the candy to come out, because my candy is going to be like literally falling from the sky when I stand back on the mountaintop. And the only way that you're going to experience that is if you stick around. So that's all I got to say. I did good. I'm so proud of myself under 7 minutes.
You were like right. It was like ticking down at the exact same second.
Woo!
Yeah, and at the very end, like you said about the candy, like he said, once you change that around and you start playing to win, when you start playing to win, then you continue going with the momentum. Like, you have to get a win. So everybody has to get off their butt and sign a customer like tomorrow, or a distributor tomorrow. That's your win. And then you keep writing that momentum. And every time you enjoy that win, it makes you want to take another bite. Like, that's the last thing I wrote down. I was just like, you keep wanting to take a bite because you got that win. But if you're sitting on your butt doing nothing, you're not getting a win. And there's no reason that every single person on here can't get a win tomorrow, myself included. I haven't signed a customer this month. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Okay?
Oh, I have one more thing, Lauren. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing. So this was like the most important thing. So this guy was like filled with stories. So the very final thing that I want to share with you guys, and I think I cried my eyes out. And then I came home and it hasn't settled well with me since. But he said, you know, he's a believer. And when he gets to heaven, he was like, and I'm not going to tell it the 100% way, okay? But like, you get there, and here I am. I'm waiting at the gates of heaven. I'm waiting, you know, for Jesus to let me in, right? God's about to let me in. And he's going to introduce me to this person that I was supposed to have been, the person that God had called me to be. And I'm standing there, and he said, like, are you going to know that person, or are you going to be two different people? And I can just tell you guys right now that right now in my life, we are two different people. And I wouldn't know the person, because I am continuously allowing so many things to hold me back. And I know that everyone is, because if we weren't, there would be so much success and abundance all over this world, not just in It Works, because that we serve a God of abundance. And so what I'm moving forward is I'm going to go out balls to the wall and be the person that I know that God is calling me to be, because when I get up there and it's my moment to walk through the gates, I want to know the person that God had called me to be. And so you guys need to think about that too. You know, are you the person? If you're not, we have the chance to change it right now. right this second. It's just really, literally, it's just you making the choice. And I wish that somebody would have recorded that, because I need to like keep that on like all the time.
Apparently he says it, people, it might be probably on, I'm sure he said it on his podcast, and you can find video, like Google Ed Milet. Didn't he say like twin, like Ed and Fred, like something? I bet you can find him saying that somewhere, because it was super powerful. And thank you, Nicole, for sharing it. You guys, he was probably our favorite of day 3. I mean, he was the first one on day 3. I'm gonna talk about someone else that I loved on that day, but he was incredible. And he also has an amazing just the podcast is amazing. So just listen to it. I wrote the title of it in here. Thank you so much, Nicole. Amy Gamlin, we're coming out your way, sis.
Hi, you guys. Okay, so I hopefully can read my notes. I have like a ton written down, but I used a highlighter. I am talking about Trent Shelton, who is a former NFL football player, and he is a motivational speaker. And so he was talking about mindset and intention. And so, I mean, it's crazy to hear all this stuff. The stuff I'm going to say kind of goes full circle with what Jenny and Nicole have already said too. So obviously everybody's saying it, so we all need to do it. But one of his quotes that he said was, application creates transformation. So we could go to an event, this event, we can go to conference, and the event isn't going to change you unless you apply what you hear. So as many notes as we took, that doesn't mean we're going to be successful or our mind shift's going to change or whatnot. You have to take what you have and what you all are writing down on paper right now and apply it. It doesn't matter if you're writing it down and, just hearing us say it, you have to apply it. So the main things he talked about is 5 traits for your mindset. And one of them was having a championship mindset. And a lot of this stuff is things that we hear all the time. Part of having a championship mindset is commitment. When it gets real, that's when you'll see if it's real for you. Are you going to quit when it gets hard? Are you going to, not stop posting because you get a no, things like that. And the type of, this kind of goes with like your why, but what's your reason for doing what you're doing? Do you have a surface level reason, which is, are you doing this just for money? And that's, I think Jenny was talking about this. So if money is the only reason that you are doing this business, you're most likely going to fail. You have to have a why big enough that's going to push you. Did you join this business to help people? Did you join this business to get healthier? It can't just be about the money, because it's not going to work. And so many leaders say all the time, like the second I turned it off of what's it going to do for me and what it's going to do for my team, that's when the success starts happening, and that's when your business will explode. Sorry. And then, okay, so basically, instead of having a surface level reason, you have to have a rooted reason, and that's kind of goes along with, having a why big enough to keep you committed to your mindset. And then he talked about some of us aren't committed, we're interested. And so what he said, being interested is like, we'll see how this goes, if it's not going the way you want, or, oh, I just learned this today. I tried doing this method, but it didn't work. So I'm just going to stop doing that. And, flip-flopping and things like that. But when you're committed, it doesn't matter what it looks like. You still put your all in, because for a fact reality will catch up with your vision. So, committing yourself, and I think that is a big problem with a lot of people, is that people don't see that this could be a lifelong career. It's kind of like a seasonal thing, or you're like, oh, we'll see how this goes, but, kind of checking yourself out before you really get it going. And I think that is part of that mindset shift, that you have to shift it to a championship mindset. He talked about emotional resilience, and that goes back to like, getting past hearing no. You have to get to a point in your business where the no's don't bother you, and it's not going to turn you away. Yes, it hurts in the beginning. You just have to keep doing it. The more you do it, the easier it will get to get past it. But you can't let emotions control you. Okay, and there is never, I can't even read my own writing. There is no strength without struggle. And that kind of goes with what Nicole was saying. And that, going through the struggle is going to you can't succeed without going through the struggle. Like the struggle is part of it. So, you know, nothing lasts forever. A storm can be built. Storms can be built. I can't read that, so we'll skip it. The tide will change. Quitting is not an option. Close the door. You know, get past that emotional resilience and, you know, don't let it affect you. Discipline. Getting great at saying no to the things that basically aren't income producing. Stop going out if it's not adding to your life or your business, you have to subtract it. Be diligent about, you know, doing income producing activities when you're on social media. Protecting your business like you protect your life. Having, he said, a BC mindset, blame and complain, and turn it into an AC mindset, I think that says, accept and change. But building your self-control muscle. So this is part of the discipline. You know, doing the 90-day challenge like a lot of us do within the business, but then I know Rachel Hollis has a 90-day challenge. Understanding the importance of making decisions today that your future will thank you for, thank you and not hate you for. Return on investment. Understanding that time is limited, and that is, I can't remember who just said that, but don't waste time on things that don't matter to you. If you're serious about what you're doing, your actions would show you're serious. If you're serious about what you're doing, your actions, I can't even read my own writing, and I literally just wrote this like tonight. If you're serious about what you're doing, your actions will show you where you're going, I think. Consistency. We talk about that all the time. Makes you a go-to person. Success doesn't depend on world-class talent. It depends on world-class consistency. So if you're out, it doesn't mean, if you're not, it doesn't mean that much to you. So, you know, being consistent. If you're not doing things, it's not that important to you. Effort has to do with you, the choice to be consistent, have the choice to be consistent every single day. I think, you know, we all know that posting consistently is really important to your business. Is my timer about to go off? Okay. We all know that posting consistently is what determines if somebody orders from you, like Nicole said. Knowing you're replaceable. And if you're not consistent, people aren't going to come to you. You want to be the person that people think of when they're like, oh, I want to lose weight. Oh, I just saw Amy posting about this thing. You know, being consistent, you always want to be on people's mind when you, when they're going to, because they're going to come to the person that's consistent, not the person that's not. I'll just say one last thing, that the other couple things that he talked about were part of the mindset were faith, having confidence, and heart, finding strength to do, even if you don't want to do things, finding the strength to do it every single day. And failure is only final when you quit.
That was the wrong alarm.
Come on, I want my damn horn.
I want it to be, I can put it as my actual timer. Like, I don't know a way to like upload it into my iPhone. It's like a separate app. So I have to go from the timer. Yes. I love me some Trent Shelton, guys. He can pump you up. I loved when he talked about that emotional resilience. The process can suck, but nothing lasts forever. So embrace the suck. Hey, Sam. Alrighty. Thanks, Amy. Yeah, he's incredible. I don't think he has his own podcast. He's a guest on a lot of these people's podcasts. He's more on the YouTube videos. And he has like a community, and I think it's like his website or a forum or IGTV. Yeah, lots of videos is what he does. And they're real good. So, okay, I'm going to go to Allie. Let me find you. There you are.
Hi, friend.
Hello.
Okay. Hi. Oh my gosh.
Are you talking about Brendan Burchard, please?
No,
I know. I was like, how are we? Okay.
I don't think any of us. No, Nicole was supposed to talk about Brendan.
No, she was talking about Ed Milet.
Okay.
I'll get it in there. I
can talk about Brendan
myself.
I'll go really fast. I'll get through as much as I can. Okay. First, so I want to talk about actually what Dave and Rachel both were speaking about. So Dave Hollis, if you go to his IGTV, he has an amazing speech from Rise Women's Conference this summer, all about leveling up your circle and changing your circle. Like, that speech he gave this summer was completely game changing for me. And it is, the full speech is on his IGTV. But what he was speaking about here was like a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And I tried to highlight what I liked from it, and I literally highlighted my whole page. So a few really key like nuggets he gave was, he said the past happened to have happened. And I love that so much, because it's like, it does not define us. The past, it happened. Yeah. So it happened to have happened. Like, cool, move on. It doesn't define you. And so often it is what we're thinking about in the past that is not allowing us to move forward and look into the future. But he said, is your action the risk to your business, or is it your inaction? So it's so often like, we don't want to do this scary new thing because what if it fails? But like, what if our lack of action is actually the risk? Because then you're letting yourself and your family down. Every single thing we do in our businesses, we need to be asking the questions, what do my customers need? How can I serve them best? When we stay in the place of comfort in our business and complacency and just being like, oh, well, this is what I've always done, this is what works for me, that is the casualty of growth. So like, you will not grow your business if you try to just say for years, like, well, this is just how I've always done it and this works. And I know I have been guilty of that many, many times. But let's see, who is controlling your time and your priorities? If it is not a hell yes, it is a hell no. And I've really taken that to heart. And that's with your family, your volunteer obligations, your kids' school, your happy hour with friends. I mean, you all know that friend that you're like, oh, I don't know, I feel like I've got to go out to happy hour with her. No, you don't actually. You do not have to do things you don't want to do. We only have so much time in the day, and it needs to be a hell yes, everything you do. And that's how you're going to stay focused on that passion. Are you spending time, or are you investing your time? We talk about this all day. If you only spend an hour of intentional time on social media, you can build this business. But the average person is simply consuming 1.5 to 2 hours of content a day, just consuming. And I think that's really on the low side. So you are what you consume. So are you watching like shitty cat videos and stupid memes and like scrolling through people's posts, or are you consuming good content? Like, you are what you consume. And that is social media. That's your, like, don't forget that social media is also your circle. But when you think about like where you want to be, like, that's who needs to be in your circle, and that's what you need to be consuming. So what character do you have to play right now to make the story you want unfold the way you want it to? So like, you have to be that person right now. And he said, hope in the future is power in the present. So like, if you have true belief and hope for what you're doing in the future, that is how you are going to be powerful today. But we cannot pursue anything of impact if you are not taking care of your body. You guys, every single speaker on that stage was in unbelievable health. They all go to bed very early. They get up very early. Most of them are completely sober. Some of them drink occasionally socially. They all run. They all have had completed massive physical challenges, even though I think only one of them was ever a professional athlete at Trent Shelton. So you guys, if you are not taking care of your body, your brain will not be right. Like, that is science. And if you move your body, you will change your mind. And so when people yawn, when people are getting quiet, Rachel will literally scream 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Macklemore Can't Hold Us comes on, and the entire place has to jump up and down screaming and dancing for 30 seconds. And I am telling you, it changes your mind. And something that I thought was super, super interesting, I don't remember which speaker said this, but there's a mind-body connection. So if you listen to your personal development while you are moving your body, you will retain it better, and you will be able to act on it more effectively, because it connects deeper into your subconscious and you're using more parts of your body at once. So I thought that was incredible. So I know every single one of us, it's like so easy to make the excuse of like, I'm too tired, I was up late working my business. You guys, there is no reason you need to be on Facebook till 11 p.m. I promise you, you can go to bed and get at 9 and get up at 5, because don't stay up till midnight and then think you have to be one of those people that gets up at 5 a.m. Like, that's not right. But you have to move your body. You have to care about what you put into it. And your brain and your business will thrive because of that. I know all of us are, at least all of us that stayed together, we're very, very guilty of, it's been a long day, pour that glass of wine, easy to pour that second one while you're on the Zoom. And when you start facing that and realizing like your mental clarity isn't there, you start looking more into it. It actually takes 8 days for every drink you have for your mental clarity to get back to like 100%. Like, so I don't think I've been mentally clear since I was like 15. So like, just let's put that out there, because like, if it really takes it that long, like maybe when I was pregnant, and let's be honest, I wasn't mentally clear then. So I'm trying to go as fast as I can. I wanted to jump over really, really quick to Rachel broke down like the foundations of business, and that it starts with you. If you are not steady, she compared our businesses to a bean dip. If you do not have a thick, stable layer on the bottom, everything else is going to fall apart, and your product isn't the bottom, your leadership is at the bottom, your systems is at the bottom. Like, you are the core. If you are not your 100% best self, pouring good stuff, consuming good content all the time, you can never be your best self to your business. So she said the 5 things that it took to really build your business is humility, hard work, health, honesty, and optimism. And none of those can come at the expense of others. So like, you can't be like super, super optimistic, like tomorrow will be better, but like not putting in the hard work. Yeah, I know, Lauren. So you can't be putting in, like, you can't be lying to yourself, but like being optimistic and lying to yourself, that kind of thing, or not taking care of your health. So I think Lauren's going to ham-horn me. I can talk about Brendan Richard. We can all chime in on him in a little bit.
I mean, you're my enroller. I wasn't going to stop you. I was going to let you keep going, but.
Oh, no. I just went over more than I thought I was going to go, because I had added some health stuff in there, but.
Well, that's good. Let me see where I can get in 7 minutes, because now I'm like pulling up my Brendan notes as well. Okay, I'm still timing myself.
Well, and you had to talk about the whole experience thing.
Yeah, that's fast. Okay. Here we go. Timer, start. Okay, so I'm going to start off with something that Rachel said that really like shifted the way that I think. She's like, who here sells a product? Who here sells a service, and who here sells an experience? And so everyone's like raising their hands for their businesses. We've all heard of this before. We either sell, and we're like, all of us are looking at each other like, yeah, we sell products. Like, that's what we do. It's a physical product that people buy from us. But the point of Rachel's activity was for everyone to really understand that we all sell experiences. Sure, you might be a masseuse who sells a service, but you also sell an experience, because there's a lot of masseuses out there, right? There's a lot of network marketers. There's a lot of places that people can get their vitamins, and people can get their greens. They could go to Whole Foods if they want. What's going to make them come to you? And so it really got my brain thinking about, not only are we wanting a great experience for our customers, because there was a whole section on customer service, customer experience. You have to remember that as It Works distributors, our customers, of course, are our loyal customers, but our customers are also our teammates, our distributors. And so if we're wanting to up the experience, it's not just checking in with your LCs. It's not just providing great customer service for them, which, by the way, do you do? Do you provide a great experience? I wrote here, are they having a great experience? Are you serving your customers well? Are you loving your customers well? Not just the customers. Let's flip it to the team. How are you serving your teammates? How are you providing them with this wonderful experience? How are you sharing? How are you connecting? So it really just made me go back to think, our customer service is not just for the customers. Our distributors, guys, are our best customers. Those are who we want to really be holding and creating community with, and really making this more than just a side hustle, more than just selling products. Is this a team? How do you feel about it? When people Stay with It works, whether it's for 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years. How was that experience for the time that you had them? How can we touch each person that comes into our organizations in a positive way? So that led us to a conversation that was like the last speaker of the day, named Chris Hogan, talking just about leadership. And I really loved some things that he said. I had never seen this man in my entire life, and I absolutely adored him. Talking about leadership is for everyone. It's not determined by a title. It's not determined by a rank. Positional power does not make you a leader. That's what makes you a boss. If you want to be a leader, it's not for the select few. You are a leader. It is time for you to start acting like a leader. And how does a servant leader act? A servant leader asks questions. And there's 3 questions I'm going to have you right now write down. And I want you to start talking to your teammates, talking to your personally enrolled. Heck, if you don't have a teammate yet, talk to your customers. The 3 questions are: 1, this is really like mind-blowing, right? How are you? That's the first question. Are you asking people, how are you? Number 2, what are you working on right now? Okay, this can go for customers or distributors. What are you working on right now? Number 3, how can I help? Guys, this is so easy, common sense, but this is what leadership is. This is helping serve people. This is following through with them, helping the people that have come to you to trust you with their business. And I promise you all, if we do this with our teammates, if we do this with our customers, it will change our entire organization and honestly, people's lives. You'll see more loyalty in your business. You're going to see people sticking around. You're going to see people having a better experience, which in turn is going to impact you and your experience, when you're not feeling like you're having to pull people along and drag people along, because it's give and take, guys. It's give and take. Okay. So I just loved his whole entire talk about leadership. He said there's 4 people you need in your life. You need a coach, you need a cheerleader, you need a mentor, and you need a friend. And not only do you need that, you need to be that to people. Are you being a coach? Are you being a cheerleader, a mentor, and a friend? Remember these things. They seem so common sense, but in a world where we are social media driven, we lose connection. And this is a great time that we have been given this opportunity to be those things to so many people. So I was going to go more into him because I absolutely loved him. But guys, Brendan Bouchard knocked my socks off. If you've not read his book, High Performance Habits, all right, is that what it is? He was so incredible. Like, I loved everything about him, and now I'm flipping back to him. High Performance Habits is a great book. I ordered it immediately, sitting in the stands. It has already been delivered, and I was literally writing down every single word the man was saying. Does he have I don't think he had a podcast, but he's a great speaker. At the end of the day, he shared a story about how he struggled in his life. He struggled with a bad breakup in college. He struggled finding his identity of who he is when he really gave himself all into this relationship. And when he lost it, he felt like he lost himself. But there came a moment in his life where he was in could have been like nearly fatal car accident. And he lived. And he says that moment where the car is spinning or flipping and you are having that moment where you're covered in blood and your life flashes before your eyes, literally. There's 3 questions that flew through his mind and has really just changed his life. And it's, did I live? Did I love? And did I matter? And I think we all just had goosebumps of like every single day thinking, if my life ended today, and Rachel spoke about how her brother-in-law passed away at age, 45, 46, she said. He died of a heart attack on the couch. She said he was a workaholic. He never took his vacation days. He died with years backed up of vacation days because he worked so hard for his family. And the dreams are always, what can we do? What will we do down the road? Instead of letting the best ideas come out now. Rachel said to die with all these ideas and all this woulda, coulda, shoulda is like the worst disservice that you can do the world. Start doing it now. Start doing it today. And just knowing what is your intention for each and every day. Every meeting you have, every message you send, every interaction you have, what is your intention? And did you love, did you live, and did you matter? And boom shakalaka. Oh, Allie, I have to unmute you to ham horn me, but You're unmuted. Go ahead. You can ham horn me. I like that was
I was like gonna unmute myself and ham horn you, and you got it for like a second. That was amazing.
Thank you. I was going really fast and covered 3 speakers, but I just felt like, gosh, we had to get Brendan Bouchard in there because I ordered that book. And of course he goes through those high performance habits and what they are. It was literally a study, guys, on the most successful people globally in all different industries and what habits do they all have in common. And they weren't just like they weren't like business habits. They were life habits. What do these people do that makes them successful in any other part of their life? Just these like common sense things. And he wrote a book on it using all of that research. And it's called High Performance Habits. And so I ordered that book. My dad's reading it now and I'm going to read it next. And I cannot wait. So what did we miss, ladies? I hope that you guys took some stuff away. If you got aha, or like any good information from that Zoom, can you give us like a amen or a hell yes, or raise your hand and say, yep, I liked
I
something.
will say, I think every one of these speakers, or almost every one of these speakers, has been interviewed on Rachel Hollis's podcast in the last year and a half. We didn't really talk about Marie Forleo.
Yes.
But if you struggle in money mindset at all, she is a really good one to listen to Rachel's podcast with her. Like, I haven't really gotten into her book much yet, but but pretty much, and like Ed Milet actually interviewed Rachel Hollis. That's a great podcast. I think almost everyone else except Chris Hogan. And then there was another guy named Scott Miller who we didn't really talk about. He was like a last minute add-in. And he talked a lot. He's like a business coach at Franklin Covey, or a marketing officer or something. But my favorite thing from him was just stop interrupting people and have high courage conversations. I could do a whole video on his thing, but don't be afraid to know someone.
She said that Brendan's book is season 4 of his podcast. So if you want to listen to High Performance Habits for free, you can listen to Brendan's season 4, and it's his book. I guessed him reading his book.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, good to know.
A huge takeaway, and I actually shared this with a leader today who was struggling with the conversation. It is more important to help somebody with their blind spot than to be liked by them. Like if you can show them their blind spot and help them overcome something that's like hurting them that they can't see, that is more important than like being their best friend in that moment. So.
Oh yeah, high courage. Yeah, all this stuff was. She said high courage conversations. Yeah, that was definitely a great part of Chris Hogan's story. Oh, and him. Yeah, I have it under the other guy too. Okay, Jenny.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one last thing because we didn't really talk about it, but Rachel went on okay, so first of all, this was supposed to end 9 to 5 every day. Rachel went over 2.5 hours on Friday night. So we were there till 7:30 because she's so passionate about finances and knowing your finances. And we didn't even really touch on that, but you guys, like, I think as, she went into like detailed business, balance sheets, P&L statements, all that stuff. But I think the biggest takeaway for us is like, you guys, like, know your freaking comp plan, like know how you get paid. I think that's like the biggest thing is like, know how you are getting paid, figure out the comp plan. And once you figure it out, like you will be so successful because you will know where you're spending your time and energy and where to best do that to increase your business, increase your revenue. So I just wanted to add that in there. And how freaking cool was it that she stayed 2.5 hours over just because she felt so compelled to teach us about that.
Yeah, it was amazing. We were like hungry and tired, but I'm like, you can't leave Rachel. She's talking and she's spitting fire. So it was amazing. And I think, I don't know, the last thing I want to say is that Marie Forleo and Rachel said it. Marie's book is called Everything is Figure Outable. And Rachel had said earlier in the day, everything that you want to know exists for free on the internet. So if you're like, I don't know how to do an Instagram story. And like, I do the same thing. I fall in the trap. I'm like, I don't know how to make good stories on over. Like, then go YouTube it. Then go research it. Every single thing. If you want to learn about better sales tips, you can find it. You can listen to all these podcasts. And just like, I know this is common sense, but I just figured out how to do podcasts not too long ago. If you have an Apple phone, there is a little purple icon that says podcasts. I didn't know this. It's purple and it's free. Literally, I thought I had to buy podcasts. I thought podcasts were Audible and like I had to buy books or like, I don't know what I thought, but I didn't know. Now you know. You can listen to them for free. And if you don't have an iPhone, there's something called something else, Allie. And you can
Castbox. And Castbox works on iPhones too. Like I know lots of Apple users who just prefer that app. That's my favorite is
even
Castbox.
on Spotify, you can listen to podcasts. So there's just no reason that you don't listen to some of this content because it's out there for free. And she said, if you ignorance is a choice. So if you are just not succeeding, that is a choice you are making every single day to not succeed, especially with all the trainings that we have available. And that's your time to empower yourself. And you can do that every single day. Whew, we did that in an hour, ladies.
And we could all keep talking for like 3 more, but we're not going to.
We're not going to. So that was so good. And thank you so much, everybody, for hopping on with us. I hope you took something away, and I hope that you enjoy soaking up and learning so much from these amazing speakers that we just shared with you all. I hope you guys have a nice night, and I'm going to be pouring over my notes some more. I know you guys will be too. Talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.
Bye.